Yeah. Hi guys, today we have Harshit and he is a Google Developer Student Lead at Sharda University. He has been Google Cloud Ready Program Facilitator and he has facilitated over 1400 students in becoming Google Cloud Ready. And he is a cloud source influencer plus he's a aspiring Google certified cloud engineer. So hi Harshit, how are you doing?
I'm really great. Thank you so much, Suraj, for inviting me today.
It will be a great podcast. I hope we do pretty well and the student will learn a lot from this podcast.
Definitely.
Before we begin, I'll have a question with you. What is cloud computing?
Okay, so let's suppose I have a i3 machine. Like my laptop configuration is i3, Intel i3, and a 4 GB of RAM.
Yeah.
And I'm dreaming for Intel i7 and of a 16 GB RAM and
Okay.
with a SSD of 516 GB.
Mhm.
So for that, what I have to do, I have to upgrade my entire machine. Like I have to put that on dustbin and I have to buy an entire new machine
Yeah.
on which I can, have my specified configuration. But when it comes to cloud, what we can do, we just have to rent out the machines on virtual servers, and
Mhm.
we can upgrade our machines as per our requirement. So cloud computing is nothing but the computing resources which are available on internet, which a user can utilize, or the enterprise companies can utilize based on their specific requirements.
So it's like you are accessing a computer based on some internet instead of you are buying a computer in your home,
Exactly,
something like that.
exactly, exactly. Yeah, like they are they are huge machines, on and we are utilizing a part of that.
That sounds interesting. What is the future of cloud computing, if I have to ask you?
Okay, so if we talk about the future of cloud computing in India or in the global scale, I think cloud computing is the only future which will lead to eventually lead to all other industries. Like e-commerce is basically based on cloud computing, and most of the companies are shifting on cloud computing. Like people say that there are different disadvantages of cloud computing, but if we go through the stats, like Dell reported that 53% of the companies are getting high scale of revenue when they go to the cloud computing. So cloud computing has a huge scope
Yeah.
because, as you know, that the technology is evolving day by day.
Yeah.
Like for example, today we have 12th generation of CPUs. Next year we have 13th generation of CPU. Even we are changing generation twice a year.
Mhm.
So to keep upgrading your machines, to keep upgrading the softwares and the hardware requirement on a particular server is difficult for an industry.
Yeah.
So the best part, what they can do, they can easily rent out the virtual servers on cloud service providers, and they can enjoy the seamless service. So definitely, cloud computing has a huge, scope and future.
That's nice to hear. Uh, if I have to ask you, what will be the prerequisite of this to learn and get into cloud computing? So, how you will define that?
So I will only recommend, like if a student know basic of programming,
Yeah.
operating system, and a basic of Linux command,
Mhm.
then a student can start, the hands-on on cloud computing. Because see, cloud is nothing but a virtual server,
Mhm.
and there are certain services like big table, big data, virtual machine, infrastructure as a service things, platform as a service things,
Yeah.
and software as a service things.
Mhm.
So basically, most of the cloud service providers like Azure, AWS, and Google Cloud, they have a console window where the console is majorly based on Linux. You have to type certain specific Linux commands, then you can use them. Then you can utilize those services.
Mhm.
So if an individual need to start on cloud computing, they must have a basic knowledge of Linux command like CD command, ls command,
Yeah.
mpdir command. So these are some basic things, and it will be really great if an individual has a knowledge of scripting like a language like Python or JavaScript.
Alright,
And moreover, if someone has a good knowledge of database, then definitely they can rock on cloud computing.
that's a nice thing. Since it's a cloud computing, I just have a very dumb question. Does it require the knowledge of SQL, like databases and all those things?
Well, there are different job roles on cloud computing. Then you will see that there is a machine learning engineer, there is a network engineer, there is a cloud architect, there is a DevOps engineer.
Mhm.
So, based on what exactly your interest is,
Yeah.
you have to decide. It is not necessary that you should have a sound knowledge of SQL, but
Yeah.
yeah, beginner level knowledge of SQL will be required to deal with most of the things. But I can say that if you are going to the part of machine learning, if you are going to the part of networking, if you are going to the part of architect level things, then it is not that much required.
All right.
But yeah, if you have a bit of knowledge of database, then that will be really helpful.
That sounds great. So one more thing, as students are, there are many students who are not like good in programming, and they are really confused, like is programming for themselves? And you know the logical part and all the stuff which student struggles.
Definitely.
So what do you think? Do students need a high grip on the programming to start with cloud computing?
Well, even at my campus, I say if you cannot do CP,
Yeah.
just go for GCP. GCP.
Oh,
Like,
that's no.
yeah, if you don't know competitive programming, simply get hands-on on Google Cloud Platform, and definitely that will give you a good job role and a hands-on package. So
That's
yeah,
nice.
if you don't have a strong knowledge of programming language, that's not a problem to start in the cloud computing world. But yes, the beginner level, like intermediate knowledge of a scripting language like Python, JavaScript, or maybe if you have a good knowledge of code, that will also be helpful to get started on the cloud computing.
That's nice. Well, so according to me, the student or the like job role for the cloud computing engineer will just be to like work on the systems, like give access to some computers and all those things, and making connections and architecture part, right?
Okay, so let me explain you what are the different functionalities which are
Yeah.
available on a cloud platform. So basically, if you see at a very broad level, there are four things. One is an enterprise cloud. Second is infrastructure as a cloud. Third is platform as a service, and fourth is software as a service. So enterprise level cloud is like you have set up your own server, you have your own data center. So that's a different part.
Okay.
That's a completely different part. Okay. Now there are three things which comes under the cloud computing majorly. The first is infrastructure as a service. And infrastructure as a service, what you do, you simply rent out a complete hardware machine.
Okay.
Simply you rent out a completely hardware machine that will be available on a particular data center, and you will utilizing your ports, you will be utilizing your operating system, you will be utilizing your bootstrap program on that particular server virtual.
Yeah.
So that will be a part. Now another thing is platform as a service. So I will just take an example of Google Cloud. Google Cloud has a function like Cloud Run. So on a Cloud Run, what you have to do, they will provide you a basic they will have their own bootstrap program. They will have their own operating system on it. A kind of operating system, not something which you can it's something like serverless servers.
Okay.
That's a contradictory statement, but yeah, serverless servers where you can have your own code and you can utilize those own codes to build something from that. So if you go through the functionalities and features on Google Cloud, so first thing, on not specifically on Google Cloud, but on other cloud platforms. So there are different things. Like if you are dealing with the machine learning thing, SageMaker is there on AWS. If you're dealing with Kubernetes things, then Google Kubernetes Engine is there. If you are dealing with data science stuff, then Bigtable, BigQuery is there on Google Cloud. And so there are different things. And and if you are dealing with just server technologies, so on most of the cloud platforms, there is virtual machine kind of thing. So yeah, there are different things on different fields.
That's nice to hear. So if I have to ask you, what will be some good programs so that a student can start in cloud computing? What will be those?
Well, for this, I can say Google is the best company to get started with, because they offer you like. See, I am wearing a hoodie of Google Cloud, which I have received as a Google Cloud facilitator. So, Google hosts multiple programs throughout the year. Recently, we have Google Cloud Facilitator program, and Suraj, I think you are already aware of right now. We have a campaign going to start as Google Cloud Practitioner program.
Yes.
And in the past days, we have Learn and Earn programs. So these are the programs in which what Google offers. Google offers you a hands-on practice lab in which you will get some instructions. You have to follow those instructions, and you will get hands-on practice on Google Cloud platform. And once you complete certain amount of quests, like there are 6 to 7 quests, once you get familiar with that particular platform, then you will get a challenge lab. On that particular challenge lab, you have to perform the task without any instructions. So this is what Google Cloud offers, and For the AWS, they also offer certain programs like AWS offers even a nano degree with in collaboration with Potency.
Yeah.
That is introduction to machine learning using AWS cloud. This is one thing which AWS offers. And for if we talk about Azure, then definitely they have an entire community based on that. That is Reskill, which basically deals with Azure kind of stuff. So yeah, students can join these programs and get started. They can get started with cloud computing.
That's nice. So, as you have said a lot about Google and Amazon cloud services, what will be the best platform to start with? And since people say that AWS has a huge market and GCP is still growing, it has not captured the market yet. So, how it's going to be?
Okay. Well, no doubt AWS has a big big market for AWS, and GCP is still growing. So if something is still growing, then definitely there is a lack of resource in the market also.
Yeah.
I just tell you that in 2019 and 2020, Google Cloud Architect is one of the most paid certification in the IT industry.
Right.
So there is a huge huge demand of Google Cloud engineers. And yeah, AWS is a very great platform. No doubt I have used AWS and Google Cloud both. Yeah. And I admire both of these platforms, definitely. But yeah, if you talk about the Google Cloud, I can say that Google Cloud is growing day by day. Even recently, Google Cloud is, as per the reports published by Google, Google Cloud is growing by 80% every year. Okay. And if we talk about the stats of 2017, even Google Cloud was growing that time with 100% rate. When it comes to other cloud platforms like AWS and Azure, they are not even in a race with the Google Cloud as per the growth. But yeah, definitely AWS has a huge market capital and a huge market capture. But still, if we talk about the job opportunities on Google, then I think this is enough to say that Google Cloud Architect is the most paid, highest paid job in 2019 and 20.
I have seen that. So, if someone wants to start his journey in getting a job role after doing some programs and certifications and all those, how should they start with that? How to reach the company?
So, yeah. So first of all, I will recommend if anyone want to start their journey on Google Cloud as a Google Cloud engineer or on any platform, what should they do? Simply, they should like all of these companies, be it AWS, be it Azure, be it Google Cloud. They all provide you certain limit of free credits on their platform. Yeah. So first of all, students should do whatever they want to do. They should practice all those stuff on those platforms. And once they get to know what exactly it is, then they should apply for these programs. Like I have told you already, that 30 days of Google Cloud, Google Cloud Practitioner Program, Google Facilitator Program, Learner Program. And when it comes to AWS Educate Portal, and AWS Educate Portal. And when it comes to that of Microsoft, they have Reskill. So they should, first of all, learn these things. Yeah. They should learn these things from there, and you may study from the books and videos, but until and unless you get the hands-on experience on those cloud platforms, you are not ready to be part of industry. Yeah. So this is the best part. You will get free credits and you can get on hands-on. Once you get on hands-on, there are certain certifications provided by these companies. Like for the beginner certification, Google provide Google Digital Cloud Leader, which basically deals with business-related things. And there is another certification which is for someone who is targeting Google Cloud as a professional, like associate cloud engineer. This is a beginner level cloud certification in which you have at least 6 months of prior experience on Google Cloud. Then you can apply for that. That is recommended that you should have a 6 months of prior experience. Yeah. Then when we talk about AWS, on AWS we have AWS Cloud Practitioner certification. That is commonly one of the most common certification which people hold. And when we talk about the Azure thing, we have AZ900. You must have heard about this certification. So these are some basic certifications which an individual can target. Once they clear these certifications, there are professional certifications like Google has Google Cloud Architect, Machine Learning Engineer, Cloud Network Engineer, DevOps Engineer, and many other roles. Same is the case with the AWS. They have AWS Certified Associate, Architect Professional, DevOps Engineer, Architect Associate. So yeah, again, when it comes to Azure, they have AI engineer, data scientist, security engineers, DevOps engineers. So these are certain certifications which they provide. So if a student want to start, simply I think 6 month time is enough. They should give 6 month time to themselves to learn all these platforms by giving a hands-on experience on these
Yeah.
platforms. Once they get familiar with that, definitely they should apply for these certifications of fundamental level. Once they get into the fundamental certification, they will all know how, like, where they want to go. They want to target architect level job, or they want to target machine learning, data, and so on and so forth.
Okay, seems like cloud is a very interesting role. So if I have to ask
Definitely,
you,
it is.
what a salary can a student expect if he is not doing CP and he is doing GCP, as you said? So yeah.
Okay. So if a student is not doing CP, he is doing GCCP. So, uh, like for as per I know, if individual is joining Google as a cloud engineer, then the salary starts for nearly 17 LPA, and it goes up to 33 and 34 something like
That's for
that.
the freshers.
And yeah, that's for Google. And if someone joins AWS, then it is almost same, like 18 to 30 LPA. It's the starting for AWS cloud engineer. I don't have much knowledge, to be honest, about the Azure
Yeah, it's
platform, but
perfectly
yeah,
fine.
for these
Yeah.
two, for these two platforms, but like, yeah, this is the salary which they offer. And once you get into the cloud architect level job, so then
I know
yeah,
that. That was the
40 to
highest
70.
paying role few years back.
Yeah, 40 to 70.
Yeah. And how do you think the complete journey will take if a student wants to start cloud to become a GCP engineer or an associate cloud engineer? What will be the timeline according to you?
Hmm. Interesting. So I will recommend, if someone want to start with learning as a associate cloud engineer, then first of all, for first year they should simply focus on what their subjects are.
Yeah.
And once they enter into the second year, they will have a subject operating system and database management. From that time, they can start doing cloud platforms. They can start exploring the cloud platform, and they should have a sound knowledge of a programming language. Basically, I will recommend them Python, JavaScript, because these are the two languages which are used well on the cloud platforms. Even if you don't have knowledge of these languages, that's perfectly fine. But if you will have knowledge of these languages, that will really be helpful for you. Once you get into these two languages up to an intermediate level, like you can you can write object oriented. You have a knowledge of object oriented programming on Python, then you can consider yourself that, yeah, I know Python. So once you get up to that level, then you should start on cloud platforms, and you should first focus on infrastructure, like what exactly is the infrastructure of this particular platform. For example, if you are targeting AWS, what are the different services they are offering, and what is the, like, their pricing model, how they are pricing, how their price, how their pricing model is, and what are the functionalities which are different from other cloud platforms. If you're also using other cloud platforms, then you should compare on all these parameters. And when it comes to, like, choosing the particular path, so first of all, you should clear the basics of a cloud platform, like how to create a VM, how to create a load balancer, a simple load balancer, how to deploy a server, how to set certain firewalls, how to create some IAM roles. So you should know some basics. Once you get through all these basics, you can focus on a particular path, like I want to do data analysis on cloud. I want to deploy my machine learning models. Although on AWS it's super easy to start with the machine learning. They have AWS Deep Research, they have Deep Composer. Deep Research is, I just want to tell you, like, Deep Research is something in which you can train your own autonomous car using some reinforcement learning algorithms.
Okay.
And you can have a virtual race, and
Wow.
if you win, you will get some credits on AWS. So this is something really good. I highly recommend students to check out this. This is pretty interesting. And yeah, so these are certain things which they can do. But my personal advice will be that first make sure you have a basic knowledge of the entire infrastructure of cloud. Then you can decide you have what you have to do. If you have already decided, then still I recommend that you should have basic knowledge of cloud platform infrastructure.
Okay, that seems interesting. Yeah, so I think we are good to go for today. And we are going to write a blog on this podcast so that student can refer all the resources which we have mentioned here. And at the same time, they can watch
Yeah,
the video.
definitely.
So that's going to be helpful. I
Definitely.
attach the link of that blog in the descriptions. And I hope you guys will choose a new path in your career. And if not CP, it's going to be GCP. So yeah, that's going to be fun. Nice talking to you.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you so much for your time, and I really appreciate you made time for this collaboration. I hope we will do great stuff in the community in the next 1 year. Yeah.
definitely, Suraj. Thank you so much for calling today for this series. I really love cloud, and definitely I love working with the community. So thank you so much for inviting me here.
Thank you for your time. खत्म.
Thank you. Bye for now.